Hey everyone, Yang Yan Zhao here, and today I have a special treat, World War Kaiju. Now, I've heard stories of this book forever. I finally got around to ordering it. It is by Josh Finney, also known as J. Ishiro Finney. I have to say that, just in honesty here, Ishii is doing a little bit of editing work for me, so make that what you will. Kat Rocha. Kat has done a little bit of editing work for me. We have Patrick McAvoy and Michael Colbert. So World War Kaiju is kind of like an alternate history book. What if, instead of dropping an atomic bomb on the Japanese, America dropped Godzilla? So just a word about the book itself. I bought it on Amazon. It kind of looks a little dinged up. I don't know if you can see, but stuff there. It's not too bad. It came like pre-creased. What can you do? So this is book one. I don't think there's a book two, at least not yet. Now, when I first got this, it was in the package, and I was like, what the heck is this? Did I order like a Garfield book or maybe like some Foxtrot collection? This is a very strange size for I guess graphic novel is really one of the best terms you could use for it, or illustrated novel. So it starts off, very comic booky, but then very quickly we get into these pages that have just blocks of text outside of a normal comic structure. And here we go. And so we end up with stuff like this, where it's like half a page of text, kind of like in almost like a script format, and then there's also some images. It's an interesting choice too. Everything is painted. So the book itself is more or less learning about the history of this world through an interview with Keegan. And Keegan is he's like a Rolling Stone writer. I think they say in the book he technically writes for Rolling Rock magazine, not the beer company, I would assume. And then there's Hampton, and Hampton is a spook. He basically works for the CIA. His deal was he was around at the first kaiju bombing. I don't know, do you bomb with a kaiju? At any rate, he gets sucked into like these future things. So of course, not long after America gets the kaiju, we have Russians getting a kaiju somewhere around here. And then, there's like an arms race, who's got the better kaiju. But then we find out that kaijus are also sometimes naturally occurring. And then, like, stuff kind of goes off the rails, and you have this race of pixies who only wants peace on Earth, and they come to talk to President Eisenhower, talk him into it, and he's like, hey, have you, we're not giving up our kaiju if the Russians have theirs. Have you talked to Stalin? And they're like, yeah, he was very mean to us. So we got the pixie people, and if you like the OG Godzilla movies back in the 60s and 70s, there was one with pixie people. I honestly don't remember. They all kind of blur together these days. So in this, Ishii is definitely bringing back all these old tropes. And then just to make things even more confusing, he throws in space aliens. Apparently they're Martians, but they're like hucksters. They have kind of like a multi-level marketing plan, and they're trying to get the Earth and our politicians to buy into it. And it seems that what brings them to the Earth is our hatching of kaiju. So as we go along, we find out that more and more kaiju are showing up in the world, and there are different countries have different kaiju. Not all of them wanted it. They just showed up. We find out that, Hampton is really trying to spill the beans. He's trying to be all deep throat. He's trying to do the Pentagon Papers in a kaiju world, and that's because he is very scared of what's coming next. And now this book, I believe I saw was copyright, 2011. So this is the 10th year anniversary of World War Kaiju. So I don't know. Are we going to get a new one? Hopefully. Hopefully. At the end, we have some different little vignettes. We have Fat Man, Defenders of Freedoms. So all the toys that would have been made. Fat Man is what they call Godzilla, presumably because Godzilla is copyrighted. We have all sorts of propaganda, like they used to have ads kind of like this for people to build your own bomb shelter. You need to be a man and protect your family from a nuclear bomb, so you should build a bomb shelter in your backyard. And then what else is really nice is that, it's called KAI 235. That is the element, which I think is maybe technically an isotope of uranium. But at any rate, it goes through like the science of how you get kaiju, how you build them, how you make an egg. It's got the sizes. It's got the classification of, it could be insectoid, mammalian, reptilian, saurian. There's also Draconis, simian, all sorts of cool stuff. And they talk about that some are rejected. The mutations don't work for whatever reason. So this was a pretty interesting book. It kind of breaks a lot of conventions just in terms of the size, the layout, how the art goes together. There are a few places where, it's mostly these painted images, but let's see if I can find it. Just in the middle of the story, it goes into, you'll have stuff like this. This one kind of works, but there's another one where it's like, I don't know, all hippie and stuff. I can find it real quick. This one. I don't know that this one works quite as well. Hanging out with Carl Sagan, who, if you were old enough, you would know he's the billions and billions guy. Very famous scientist. Everybody loved him back when PBS was the thing. It's kind of weird to go from this style art back to this. I don't know if it's an issue of they were added later and you couldn't get the main artist back, or I don't know. At the end, it works. At the end, it works out quite well. This was, a little strange. Switch over to this style again here. On the SS Ishiro. But overall, I like the book. I wish that there were more. If you didn't have book one and they come out with a new book and there's like a collection, two together, definitely worth it to get that. It kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger, which normally I would like, but it's been 10 years. So, what do you guys think? Graphic novel, illustrated novel? I don't know that I quite say comic book. Slightly different format. Definitely not a manga. So if you guys like this video, you want to see more from independent authors and artists, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, click the subscribe button, and we'll be back soon with more.